All right. We're good. You there?
Yes. Yes, I'm here.
We've been having some crazy things happen on the show for the last week. It would look on the surface that it's tech oriented, but it's definitely energy oriented. And so we started talking.
I saw a couple of those instances.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
So first of all, welcome back, Susan Walter. I met you in Sedona. You know what's really cool, and I just got to give you props and everyone like you, and that is when you meet people that are downloading, and more people are in a more massive way, but especially people that have like a specificity, like a specialty, like you do, and it's just part of them. It's not a show. It's not a dog and pony show, and they're just straight human beings. And so when I met you, that was the coolest part, meeting you and interacting with your energy. You're just really down to earth. Like, I would think somebody who connects with angels to the degree that you do would be looking like Mother Mary. You know what I mean? But welcome back to the show, Susan Walter.
Oh, thank you. And yeah, it was fun. We just happened to be in Sedona at the same time, and it was not planned. Had no idea the other one was going to be there. It just happened to be, that's just the way it worked out. If I hadn't gone into one particular shop there in Sedona, I wouldn't have known that you were going to be there.
How'd you find out?
The group of guys that do the healing sessions on Thursday nights there with sound and gongs and I happened.
That's time.
Yeah, I just happened to drop into their shop the day before on Wednesday, and he was telling me about what they were doing Thursday night, and I just said, "Well, I'm there." And then he said that you were coming in town and going to be doing the soul on Friday night, and I was like, "Okay, well, I'm going to that too," because my plan was I was Saturday. Yeah, I had a blast.
So was that the weekend before Soulogy Fest? I think it was the weekend before. It was the 14th.
Yeah, it was the weekend before the big event, but you did a small event that Friday evening.
Yeah, they had it pre-planned, and they renamed it I Am Soul. In fact, I'm trying to download that. Right now. I've been having problems since last night because I want to get that. That first part was pretty cool. When I got up there and the sun started coming through the windows. I don't know. I didn't view it very long, but so we were talking. Yeah, you know what? There's a lag, so it's not that we're interrupting each other, but just keep that in mind. Okay. So, but before the show started, we started to talk, and he said, "What's going on with the energy today?" And I said, it's always there. You're either experiencing it or you're observing it, right?
Yeah. And I said, today I'm definitely feeling it today. Definitely experiencing it. I'm just buzzing, and it's, like, what am I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do next, because I just feeling all this energy, and I'm just, where am I supposed to focus this?
Yeah, I got you on that. And see, the thing that happened, because, that thing about experiencing and observing, I've heard Morgan say that for, I don't know, probably a year, maybe longer, different times. But to me, it took on a different context when we were talking, because I realized something. So, and I'm being honest about myself, when I'm experiencing it, I feel smaller. You know what I mean? I feel more like the journey we've had.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then when I'm observing it, I feel smart. So there's another integration that Todd's got to work on.
We all need to work on.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a humbling experience. It's an experience where every day it's more profound in all ways. And every day we're being, by force or flow, directed to ourselves and off of the external people, places, things. Yeah. So how's it been for you today?
Since saw you in Sedona, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster. I've even done another trip since then. I went to the Black Hills.
Wow.
And visited a friend up there. And I don't know if you've been there, but it's just such an amazing place.
Yeah, somebody mentioned that in my field in the last 2 or 3 weeks. I don't remember where it was. I think it was on the show. And since I was a little kid, that's like the one place. I'm talking like when I started reading books, like in 1st and 2nd grade, about Indians and the Sioux. But the Black Hills, yeah. And then somebody about 3 weeks ago said something to me, asked me the same question. I said no, and they had been there, and they said it was just absolutely off the hook. So was this your first time going?
I had been there one other time when I was, probably like 9, I think. So, didn't really know or how to put into words what I experienced at that time. And I remember going horseback riding with my family. I remember going on the old 1880s train.
Wow.
But this time I was just there for a couple of days, and I just kind of drove around and wandered around and experienced some different places. Needles Highway was awesome. And I kind of pictures I took, and that back to my friend's house, and we were looking through the photos, and we going, oh gee, there's a picture, there's the grandmothers in the rocks, we just kept seeing all these different amazing things in the rock structures. And then I'd also stopped at there's a small lake there at Needles Highway that's in Custer Park, and that was absolutely beautiful.
Wow.
And I didn't go into the Wind Cave that's there between Custer and Hot Springs, but I did go and walk the land there a little bit. So that is definitely something I want to go back and experience, is that cave. That is the cave that the Lakota actually talk about in their legends as where they came from, where the ant people hid them and protected them during the last change. They emerged.
Yeah.
And
see, this is
that just experiencing the energy of the place was beautiful.
Somebody's got their music on. Can you hear it?
Yeah, I do, but I can tell you it's not here.
Oh no, I know it's over here. I got the window open.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I dig the beat. I like Eminem, but not right now. That was tripping me out. I was hearing this noise in the back, and I knew it was on this end. Yeah, I'd like to go to the Black Hills. That would be. I think that would be the one place I would like to go. If it, like the last place, right? I mean, if there was one more place I was going to go, that'd be it. So, okay, now you were on about 1.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And you had a pretty interesting story. Anybody wants to check that out, just look under SoulSpeaks 5D on YouTube or Facebook with her name on it. And so you have had this continuing relationship on a personal level with the consciousness of angels, if you will.
Yes.
And you also utilize that in, I believe, in as an energy practitioner with clients, as well as in terms of the art you produce. Does that sum up Susan Walter?
Yeah. Mostly, yeah. I have several projects. Yeah, the angel portraits is what, the very first thing I started doing. And I've been doing it for 20 some years now. Able to go through the experience of becoming, Reiki master with both Usui, Karuna, and Shishim. And, did some energy trainings as well. It seems like every 2 or 3 years, there just seems to be, something I want to add.
Right on. Yeah. So what was, no, go ahead. There's a lag. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah. And then I was about 3 years ago, actually, I think it's been a little bit longer than that, maybe 4 years ago. I started doing crystal singing bowl meditations. So working more with the sound, and I'm very, very specific about I have 9 bowls that they are all solfeggio frequency bowls. So I've really gotten into the frequencies and different ways to work them, not just with sound, but also visually with some mandala specific frequencies.
Wow, this is cool. I'm digging this. Now, is this going to be part of, I guess, you can look at something like I might collaborate with those guys you met in Sedona, Jade and Ty, or you do a session. Both of them have energies of alignment, I guess, is what I'm saying. Are you looking at kind of mixing what you just described with the singing bowls and the mandalas and using it either for group or individual healing?
I do group sessions with singing bowls, and one of the things I've done with the mandalas is I've created meditation decks with those. So there they are, cards. They're about that big around.
You're like a one-stop 5D shop.
It's kind of gone that way. That was never my intention.
I want to ask you about something. It just popped in my head, and those things we got to start using instead of the other types of thoughts, right? I saw somebody put up a post in the last 2-3 days, and I believe it was a woman, most likely, that y'all are leading the way. And she said, and she wasn't from the States, I don't think, because I don't think she'd been to Sedona, but she said that she'd got a download 2-3 days ago or something, that Sedona would be the first crystal city. And I don't know why that post spoke to me. Do you feel anything for that? I'm just curious. I know this is offbeat.
That's not something that I've been given information about at this time.
But I mean, I don't think so much as Sedona, but would it be, because things seem to be getting more physical. People are talking about how the body's really on point now. Like the body is literally the Merkaba. It just happens to be, I mean, if you think about the higher self or the soul embodying into the human, it would only make sense. And so like this is our adjustment period. But the point being that, I mean, do you think that as it takes on more of a physicality and that transformation occurs within our body, that we might see crystal cities, or we might see materialization, dematerialization, just different supernatural attributes? Do you think we'll see stuff like that?
It's a definite possibility. I think only those that are ready to see it will sell. If you're not functioning fast enough frequency, able to see it.
Yeah. Here's another comment. Oh, that was Melina Ferguson that said that, by the way. I remember now. And then Holly says, as well as Central Arkansas. I've heard the same about Arkansas as well. I've heard the same about that. But I'm just curious as to what this is all going to look like. I'm more curious to know, because I met you before 2020. what was 2020 like? How was your 2020 experience?
Oh, yeah, on a physical level, because my daughter at the time was in New York City. She was there going to culinary school, and she had finished her classes and was doing her internship. So one of the first things I had to do was literally drive to New York City and bring her home. So that was an adventure in itself. Wow. As the whole country was closing down, I'm having to go halfway across the country. So yeah, she stayed with me then for the first, probably 6 months. She was living with me. And yeah, and then well, we'll see how this works out at this point, but it looks like I'm finally a permanent empty nester. But my 3 boys, were settled enough, 1 here in Kansas City and 2 in Iowa with their families. But
you're in Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm right here in the middle of everything.
Yeah. So that's the. No, go ahead.
Yeah. Do you remember the old Lori toy maps? Those were from probably. I remember seeing those in the early 90s.
Okay.
And that was a map showing what she believed were going to be the Earth changes and what the U.S. was going to look like.
Was that the one where? I'm sorry. There's a lag. Let me just ask you this real quick. Was that the one? Excuse me. Where there was a rise in the sea level, or something happens and the West Coast becomes like the Rocky Mountains, right?
And there's actually been one of those, and they all seem to be somewhat similar.
Yeah.
They all show the Mississippi, getting to be much wider as it goes down, and California's unfortunately gone, and all coasts are changed. But she put a big heart right on top of the Kansas City at the very last moment. She said literally just hours before it went to print. And she called it actually the heart of the dove, and that it would be.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. And heart of the dove, I think, goes back to J.J. Hurtak.
It does. 1973 at J.J. Hurtak. The heart of the dove is, the heart of the dove, when you say Kansas City, because if you look at it, it's got Northwest Arkansas, but it's a little bit bigger than just one secluded area. But as you're saying that, I look at like Kansas City, St. Louis, Arkansas, the North Carolina. So there's certain places that have an energy that looks like it's emerging. You can feel it. You can feel it.
Yes.
And I have a really close friend that's from Kansas City, and she's very quiet. And she's lived there quite a long time. And she was telling me how she had met with a really not elite group as in snobby, but like prominent people that came together annually in almost like a secret way or just to, and they would discuss the things that we discuss basically. And all the things that would stem from that, be it finance, be it science or whatever. So it's got to be a hopping place. That's what I'm saying.
We do actually have a very large community here, and it's coming together now in ways I have not seen before. Because I've been in Kansas City for about 30 years.
How long have you been woke?
That word is kind of a
How long have you been in the lifestyle you're in, where you basically incorporated everything, integrated everything? You're serving, you're getting abundance from service. You know what I mean? You're becoming an empty nester.
That probably really started in 94, which was
94. Wow.
And
awesome.
In 94 was when I really started doing a regular meditation practice, and I started drawing sacred geometry symbols that I was seeing in meditation, and seeing also when just when it gets really when it's really black, when you're going to into that space, I see the energy grid. I always have. And I think that's when I started understanding what I was seeing. And then, 97 is when I started seeing everybody else's angels and started drawing them.
Yeah. So do you have to be like in front of somebody? Like, can you see my angels right now?
Normally, I've one of the things I've learned to do over the years is turn the volume down, so to speak, where I see seeing a ball of color that's just constantly moving. And that's how I normally see it now. It's just when I set with the intention, of drawing up, somebody's angel portrait. And I can do it in person. I can do it. I've learned to do it from a photograph. And then this last year, I have been doing it through Zoom.
Yeah. So they have to pose, like,
just sit and talk, just like we are now. They ask questions.
No, I was just laughing because sorry about the lag, but I was just laughing because and making that comment, being a juvenile, because I saw a meme yesterday and it was two frames and the top was the artist and the model. And he said, "Do you mind nudity?" And she said, "No, I don't mind." And then it showed the next one. He was nude and she wasn't, right? And he was drawing her. I just thought it was funny. Yeah, that's what happens when you get old in the ascension. Old people jokes. Hey, so like in terms of your connection to the angels, right? Do they ever? I mean, do they ever speak to you in terms of what piece they bring to the table, or do they ever speak in terms of there are other aspects or energy complexes that are helping the human hybrid souls, or is it all the same thing? I don't know. You know what I'm going with this?
Yeah, they mentioned their main purpose with us is to help us, because it's the angels that we set down in between lives to figure out, these are what experiences I want to have. These are the lessons I want to learn. So they're the ones that kind of keep us on track to experience those different things and learn those lessons. So that's at least that's your personal ones. That's their main purpose. There's other groups of angels that are not associated with us personally that are here to, some of the archangels in different groups help me do some of the work that I do. I've also worked with, the Soulogy mandalas that I mentioned that I've created. There's a group that helped me. They're called the guardians of the Soulogy. So there are different groups that they have helped bring into my awareness. It can help us with different projects or things that we're doing. They have shown me that there are other councils, other groups that help us on a planetary level, not so much on the individual level. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I've never asked that question before. I'm like, this is a cool question.
I don't think I've ever answered that question before.
No, it's a good answer though. I mean, it's there's something about sovereignty that I think part of the awakening and expansion is understanding that it's applies at all moments and all timelines, all dimensions, no matter who the company is that you're keeping in the moment, be they physical or non-physical. In other words, it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to ask questions when we're dealing with what we deal with. I mean, it's not like any of us, including you, and I don't even have to ask you, 1994 or not, we have had those moments where we go, am I crazy? Like, am I just making this whole thing up?
I still ask my question at least a couple times a week.
Okay, and here we go. And we keep trugging we keep on plugging, we keep on trucking. I mean, and so I think we have an expansion of our sovereignty that applies everywhere. I ask questions of what I receive, and even when my body lights up, I can still ask questions. I can still integrate, and I think that's maybe even part of embodying, is to really feel into it to the point, because a child's mind is curious, and we are that.
Mm-hmm. And I think we need to, all of us need to take that weight off our shoulders that we think we're, carrying the world around.
Yeah.
We think we're personally responsible for the whole world.
That is the mentality of a lesser God.
Yeah, we need to let that go. And one of the things, becoming more childlike, I think, can be very helpful with doing that. Bringing in more joy, more laughter, telling more silly jokes, whatever. Right?
I mean, there's a whole, like, the 99.99% of the laws in this world are lawless. But there's not one law in this world that says, as a whatever age person, that you can't act like a kid. Yeah. You can't be curious and genuine and playful and imaginative and creative. And, it's so crazy how everything is coming down to a simple, profound, infinite, beautiful truth. Just chill the F out, be yourself. Really. And I know it sounds cliche, but I think we kind of got to get over ourselves here. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
We do.
In a nice way, in a diplomatic way. So you have, I mean, go ahead.
I was just going to say that, you are so right on that statement that, that we need to get over ourselves. Yeah. We've all think that, like we're the center of the universe. We're the center of our universe, of our personal universe and our personal perspective, but everybody else is the center of their universe and has a totally different perspective.
That's right. And everything is being questioned more every day. We're getting smarter every day, if you want to put it that way. And what was true yesterday isn't necessarily true or not to the same degree. It was a stepping stone. You hear people talking about, and I've said it for years, it's my one, I don't even know the Bible, but to thine own self be true. That pretty much says it all. But like everything in our experience, especially as time goes on, it becomes more paradoxical. There's always a polarity, and we're all about integration. So, I see no reason why we're not going to integrate what to thine own self be true and full-blown service to others, right? I mean, there is a meeting point. There are new 0-point fields being established every day by us stepping out of these belief systems, even if we just found it yesterday. Get over ourselves. I have new rules of the road for the ascension. Get over ourselves. Get out of the way. Shut the F up. Nobody gets out alive, and everybody goes. Nobody's left behind. That's it. So chill out.
Yeah. And we're still going to each go in our own time.
Yeah.
We're not leaving anybody behind just because one person goes now and one person goes in a week, for example. Right. But we're all still going.
Yeah. That's a great point too, because we're all sitting here going, oh, time's going away. And there has been anomalies and aberrations, right?
Oh, yeah.
I had it this morning and last night. It was insane. I'm on my messenger and I'm trying to, after like several weeks, go down, these messages and try to answer them. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, and this happened twice, all of a sudden, I'm looking at messages from like 2 years ago. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Like I look away and it just came back to it. But anyway, my point is, so we're all saying that linear time has less of a hold on us and it's fading away, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But every time we say something in terms of a comparison, especially that, excuse me, because you can feel the separation when somebody says, oh, they don't get it yet. Oh, they're not awake. Well, if there's no linear time, then what the hell are we talking about? Because we're all getting there at the same time. We don't understand this stuff, you know. It just seems like a lot of things that we're putting out there, we're questioning, even in ourselves, which is the most important thing.
I had an experience here about 3-4 weeks ago. I was out running errands and I was going through, a questionable part of town in the middle of the day, and I drove by this abandoned building and I noticed particularly on one side, all the windows were all broken out. Well, it just is the way things worked out. I ended up going by the same building about 20-30 minutes, and all of a sudden the windows were not broken out. They were all intact. And the amount of trash that I had seen the first time that was around the building, it was like somebody had cleaned it up. They saw, the grass wasn't mowed or anything yet, but the amount of trash wasn't there that had been there previously. Trying to wrap my head around that, and was like, have we gone through? There's some people talking about, how we're merging timelines. Yeah, was that what happened? That somewhere in that time frame, a timeline's merged. So and some of us are talking about how some of us are still in 3 or 4D, where some of us have moved to 5D. Did I make a jump from one time, one frequency to another there? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like it's to me less like a glitch. It looks like a glitch, but I think what it is like, you ever turn on like like the old TVs, right? And how it would have all that static, you know what I mean? But then it would kind of come in like, and then the TV would, the projection would take hold, kind of like that. So it's like, that you bring this up too. And this came up about a week ago for me. I'd heard it a lot. I know you've heard it. The Great Divide, the two Earths splitting.
Yes.
And I actually was talking to, who was, I think it was Franco on the last show. And he said that it's still not decided if that's actually going to happen. But right now it looks like that's the way it's going to go. And I said, well, what does that look like? And, he didn't really know, but to me, energetically, it feels like that to me. It feels like there's a part of my life that's going away forever, like family, what was family, and, just different things that made my identity. I don't know. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, it's like, I've been kind of looking at it like, it's like some of the definitions of what we think of as family and soul family, for example. It's like some of those definitions are just going to change.
Yeah.
They're not going to be what they once were. I think we might finally realize on a deep level that we truly are from the same thing.
Yeah.
At least I hope so.
Well, and the other thing is like emotions, sentiments, sentimentality, they're taking on a new meaning too. It's almost like as we get into this thing, it's almost like you have this insensitivity, but you really don't, because you're stepping into more oneness. It just has a different flavor. And part of that is that everything, because it's like emotionless. You could say everything's connected. You ever see pictures of the cosmos and they call it the web, the cosmic web? I mean, it's actually got a physicality. So the connectivity thing, I think, is what's starting to really come around. where people are actually saying yes, I'm going to choose me. To thine own self be true, but there are always ripples going out. And when there's always ripples going out, you've got to maintain the integrity to the highest degree with, your free will and universal will, because if not, then we're just beating a dead horse, because there is no in between. There is no, oh, well, I'm mad, so I can do this, or, or whatever the case is, revenge, or, that type of thing. I don't know. I just feel like it's getting very human in the ascension, very, very, very human in a very divine way.
Yeah. I couldn't have put it better.
So many gates to heaven, and they're all open true. So many gates to hell to go play in. I think we're going to
in heaven too.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you ever, is it always angels? Do you ever pick up on anything else? Elementals, galactics, anything?
Sometimes I do. Angels are the most prominent for me, but yeah, I do pick up on some of the other stuff. I know even in the place I moved to about almost 2 years ago now, I'm in an apartment, but I have a great little, like 20 by 30 patio where I actually have a little bit of dirt where I'm able to even plant some herbs and things. So I'm able to work with the fairies and some of the elementals in ways I haven't for quite some time, and I'm really enjoying that.
Are you seeing any of that elemental stuff with your two eyes?
Not yet, no. I just sense their energy, and it's like there's once in a while I'll see like little flashes out of the corner of the eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, even I'm able to see part of the patio from where I'm sitting here, and every once in a while I'll see movement that I know it's somebody moving out there and somebody doing plants that I'm not actually able to see just the movement.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everybody's different, but I mean, I just look at it like intel, like we were talking a while ago. I mean, you've been doing this for 30 plus years and you still said, I still ask myself, am I crazy a couple of times a week? But in that regard, like just things that do come into, let's just say the visible light spectrum momentarily or whatever, it's the same thing, it's there. And as long as we, you know what I mean? I think it's going to come, because I think if it got really physical with the other dimensions, let's just say the closest 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever, we'd be petrified. I don't care who you are. It would be too much. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everybody thinks they're waiting for a spaceship to land in their backyard for proof that the galactics exist, and I don't think it's ever going to quite happen that way.
I don't. If spaceships land, in my opinion, and I think for me it'd be very hard to change, but the universe has changed my mind many times, and I don't rule anything out. But if they land, to me, it's not going to be that. It's going to be man-made. It's going to be a show, because that level of what am I trying to say? That level of intelligence is not. It doesn't have to, come in here and make a big show. If something is, even if something's extraterrestrial, and it's of the mindset or the frequency that it has to come in and play a game, then they're just as 3D as we are. I don't give a shit what kind of technology they have.
I agree with that.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I don't think they need to land.
No, they're already visiting us. You know what? I got this impression the other day. If you look at the cycles of history, I was watching a great show last night on the Dogon tribe. I think you mentioned about the Black Hills. Then you got the Pueblos. You got the Aborigines. It's all over the world. You have the Sumerians, Egyptians, Phoenicians. So you have these Central America. So you have these civilizations that are basically hunter-gatherer, farmer. And then all of a sudden they have this huge boom, like overnight, like the missing link in our supposed evolution. But it's the same cycle. The gods come down from the sky, they share their information, code, so on and so on and so on, and then they leave. And then I thought, well, you know what? This is a pretty brilliant idea. What if we just jumped into the suits and did that? And maybe that's what it's evolved to. So we could assimilate, let's just say, the human hybrid species and the higher aspects to take on their form, which is our form, make it our form, own it and anchor it and embody it and bring through the transition that way. I think it'd be a good cartoon.
Yeah, maybe you and Spirit Science need to get together on that.
I think animation is a great way to get these messages out. Humor, I think, is a great way to do it. But there's so many ways to do it, like what you do. Some of these things that people look what yours has evolved to. So you have mandala that's matched to a sound or a set of sounds. I just learned about this at Soulogy Fest with Eric Rankin and the Hertogs. The association between an image, all right, something visible, a geometry, a color, a sound, like it's all the same thing. It's crazy. It's all connected.
Yes. Most definitely. Yeah, and the with the angelics, the language that they use when they communicate with each other, its frequency, it's so close, it's almost like music. Sometimes when we're hearing that, even what some call tinnitus, I think if we would work with that tone and actually really go into it, maybe even hum it ourselves, I think that would connect us to something, and to information that we don't understand in that 3D level at this point.
Yeah, I agree with you. Two things come to mind. So 10 years ago, when I was being indoctrinated, back into being awake or whatever, and interacting with non-physical, third eye, whatever. So that these angels were huge in the whole episode of my life. But when I would see them, they would all be lined up and they would open their mouths in unison, and color would come out of their mouths with some type of almost a music that was like, you ever going to sleep and you hear you hear something and it's not anything, it's just like, but it's this melody or this, you know what I mean? And that's what it would be like. That's what it would be like. And then the thing you said about the tones, they are coming in, at least for me, they're coming in more and more every day. And just what you said a minute ago, I've tried to, especially at night, just like put my whole consciousness into the tone and see what happens. Sometimes it gets really loud, but I can always sync with it. Now, as far as getting any specific information I could verbalize, not really. It's more of a faint intuition, and it does come. In fact, it happened to me a couple of hours ago. It does come when certain thoughts, you know what I mean? You get to a thought or you make a statement in your head and it goes, like bingo, bingo, bingo. Do you ever get that?
Sometimes, yeah. And other times I'm trying to, but don't quite get there. We're all learning and experiencing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it never stops.
Well, I think the sharing's good too, because I think we've got enough embodiment to not get caught up in, oh my God, Susan can talk to angels and I can't. It's more now, we're able to share things. There's less judgment, less comparison. And whether we're verbally giving somebody something that they can actually actualize, the bottom line is the intention of the heart is the like the instigator for the code exchange. That's really what it is. It's the two or more coming together, and it's the intention. It's kind of like the tones, right? It's like the space between the words.
Yeah. Numerous times I've had people, go, I wish I could do what you do. Because if we all did exactly the same thing, there's so many things we're missing out on, so many things we wouldn't get to learn or experience. It's like if everybody looked exactly the same, we'd be able to tell each other apart.
Yeah. And I bet you that's
we all
part
bring
of
something.
That's right. Yeah. Unique and equal souls. But I think part of the way that's, at least for me, beginning to happen, it's kind of like putting yourself in someone else's shoes. And some of it is consciously intended, like maybe to understand a situation or something like that. This isn't jumping in someone's soul. It's just kind of like aligning with their perspective, right? But it also happens in another way. Like I was watching I was flipping through YouTube before I went to bed last night, and I came across a video. I like history, and it was Civil War era, and it was about racism, slavery, the byproducts of that. Let's just put it that way. And what happened was, it was really kind of a natural thing. I was all of a sudden the slave owner. And my mind was opened to the amount of power that I had, and the beautiful black women, and the dominance over the men, and my own wife, and my own children, and my own community, and what it was like. And then, of course, the other side is an empath type of person. I felt I've gone there, but we've been it all. It's all connected. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Lifetime after lifetime, we've been nothing but the good guy. Something.
Man, I think we're like the cosmic Marines. I think we're like the gung-ho, charge the hill, come hell or high water. And I think we've got a lot of mileage. This was a big one. This was the biggest one. The biggest challenge and the biggest achievement. Basically, in that paradox, that the greatest strength is the greatest weakness, and the greatest weakness is the greatest strength. It's our diversity, which makes us so powerful, because we have so many different points of context, but it's our diversity that's been wedged between us.
Yes.
So you got any more travel plans? At
the moment, I've been kind of scheduling some different metaphysical fairs. So I'm here in Kansas City, Dodge City, Kansas. I'm probably going to do later this year. So that's kind of, family reunion in July. I'm hoping to make it to North Carolina, particularly to Asheville later this year, but I'm not sure when yet.
Yeah. Where's the family reunion? Idaho?
That'll be in Iowa, up where I'm from, where I'm originally from.
Yeah, I thought it was Iowa. Idaho. Iowa. Cool.
Yeah. I'm originally
and so like, what's that?
I'm originally an Iowa farm girl.
Where's the truck? Well,
Yeah, I actually have one son who's still a farmer.
Do you really? Oh, I think that would be such a interesting life. Depends on what level of farmer.
It's hard work, and it's 24/7.
Well, I had a friend that I grew up with, and he went into, I don't know what he was doing, but he was good. He was a good businessman. He made enough money. He would have been like 30, 35. He made enough money to go and lease, and I don't remember how much it was. I think it was like 20 or 50 acres or something. It wasn't like a huge plot. And he bought a tractor. And so he would go out every day and farm. He would just ride this tractor. And I'm like, dude, because I loved it. It was the greatest thing in my life. But evidently he couldn't sustain himself.
That's not enough land to be able to sustain yourself on.
Well, that must be it. Because I know it wasn't like 100, 200, 3. It was like 20 to 50. Yeah.
Yeah. If you only have 30 to 50 acres to specialize in one thing and be really, 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 really good at it, to be able to make a living at it. Yeah. And most farms need to rotate crops and diversify in different because what if, for example, if all you do is corn, what if prices bottom out one year? Then you're up a creek.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing that people born and raised that way. So what do you do at these expos? Are you putting the expos on, or you?
No, I'm not. I have some friends that are promoters of the ones here in Kansas City, and Dodge City is a new location for them. I assist them. I've helped design the logo and some stuff like that, but I go actually and do angel portraits on site at those events and take a little bit of my other pieces.
Do you have a copy of an angel portrait?
Andy? Just a second. I've got it here. Here, I've actually, I've incorporated the drawing of Archangel Gabriel into another piece of art, but that's Archangel Gabriel. So stuff like this around are not going to be people's personal angels. But I have done, because number one, they're mailed to them. But I don't want to share people's personal information like that. But I have done some of the art.
No, I get that. Yeah.
And things like that.
So what's that thing on it?
This?
That.
This up here is a stone, piece of green quartz here. And then this is a tube of glass. And inside it is a piece of papyrus. And that's meant to be so, and you can write a prayer or a request to that particular angel. Yeah. Yeah. And you can, it's real easy to remove and put it. A few of those.
Papyrus. Papyrus. That's like, even when I was a little kid and I heard that word, like it just meant something to me. I could smell it. And then as time went on, I realized I spent a lot of time writing on them, writing on papyrus, right?
Papyrus is a beautiful paper and a difficult paper to work with. Yeah. Yeah. But it's interesting how it's like it absorbs the energy. Of what you write on it a different way than wood paper does.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like crystals. I mean, really, there's really just kind of like you talked about the map earlier. A map, kind of at a multi-dimensional awakening kind of way, is not points on a piece of paper. It's all the different things, right? Mm-hmm. And one of those is like crystals, essences, smells, aromatherapy, that type of thing. But I think those might be the closest things to us. And I guess what I'm saying is the trees have it, the papyrus has it. They all have their consciousnesses, right? You do plant medicine. Mm-hmm. You are communicating with a consciousness. You know, what's the difference between anything in our physical existence as we travel, as we walk the earth in our physical Merkaba, and we engage, you know, in a physical way versus, you know, through the third eye or meditation. It's the same thing. Energy is energy, and
right.
You know, things like that. I think we've overlooked, just like we overlooked ourselves. Yeah.
There's so many things that we have, you know, we don't realize the true value of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even, you know, the trees, yeah, yes, they are something that we can use to make paper and build our homes and all kinds of things out of, but the trees hold history too.
Mm. Yeah. Trees are elders. Trees are definitely elders, and they're not only they elders, but their root. What we don't see of them is even more than what we do above the ground. Their root system and what it represents, you know, their own little cosmic web, and then that's you know, a piece of a bigger monad, and it just goes on forever, and you're just like, holy crap! And I'm this little dot in the middle of everything, but at the same time, I'm everything. What a trip! What a trip!
Yeah.
I can't wait till the after party. Really. Because
yeah, it'll be fun.
Can you imagine being in an environment where everybody's gotten over themselves? It would be it would be like being on a it'd be like tripping with a bunch of your friends back in the day, and you're at a party, and every time you look at one of them, you just start laughing. It would be such a space of freedom. Just everyone get over themselves. Totally. Yeah. If you're not splitting in half every 2 or 3 days, you know what I mean by that, where there's like you're having this dialogue, and all of a sudden, boom, one standing over here and one part of you standing over here, and you're split. And then you get that kind of abyss of sound, the soundless, where it just goes, you're in the abyss again. But what I'm saying is that, you know, I mean, get over yourself, Todd. I say in different ways to myself, and I know it just can't be me. It's not about the downloads anymore. It's about get out of the way and shut up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So much more joy when we release and let go.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, and then we're like, that's what I was saying about the observing, experiencing thing. Mm-hmm. Here's another duality. I'm observing and I'm experiencing. Well, why can't I do both at the same time? This is all about integration, isn't it? And and if I'm observing, I think I'm really clever because I'm going, oh, that's what they're going through. I'm past that. If I'm experiencing it, I feel like an ant. You know what I mean? There's got to be an integration, and I know there's steps to everything, but these parameters and absolutes that we come up with in our infinite lesser God genius, that's just a thing. We can get past these things.
I like the way you put that, the lesser God genius. I like that.
Well, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, and I don't get caught up in narratives, but we are the fallen angels. And anyone that has and I probably shouldn't say that to the angel lady, but what I mean is, that's what we said earlier. We've embodied everything. We didn't just have this fall from grace, so to speak, according to the religiosity, blindly and without experience. You know, if I'm going to have, probably one of the last things that I'll have to shed on my way to unity consciousness is not believing that the boots on the ground on Earth are the A team. They're the A team. Yeah, I really believe that. Human is a hero. So.
Yeah, and that's why some of the other groups, cultures, councils, angels, whatever you want to call them, are actually fascinated by us at this moment, and why there's so many here to support and assist at this time.
So what do they say? Or you just overall that's what you get from it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There is certainly for me, I mean, there's just been a constant, if I go back 10 years, there's been they came in with a boom. Hey, we're your team. And a big part of it for me was angels. As far as numbers, 24 of these and 3 of these, it was, but as time has gone on, even at that Soulogy Fest, the weekend after I met you, Franco went up on the first day and he was kind of creating the container, right? For setting the intention for the Soulogy Fest. And at one point he says, Todd, he looks over at me on the side of the stage and he says, you got a lot of friends here. And he said, I'm not talking about the physical, right? And so at that moment, or right before that moment, I had looked down at the ground because we were under a tent, and some of it had carpet on it, but this little spot didn't. I just happened to be sitting there on my butt, and I looked, and there was a reptilian looking at me, and I was like, what are you doing here? And then I saw on the floor, a diverse representation of Star Family. Basically, I didn't check each one of them out, but I felt that and I got it. And he says that at the same time. But what I was getting at is people, I think a significant number of people have felt and feel that our teams have grown bigger and bigger and bigger in a very steady way.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of
and we each have more than just our personals around us at this time. But and we also have family members or people that from our lives that are on the other side of the veil that are here to support and following us on this. There's referred to as our guides. Because angels have not taken physical form, but our spirit guides have. So there's certain things that they understand how difficult it can be for us. But then, our biggest problem is, like you said, the getting over ourselves. Part of that is to realize that we're making this so much harder for ourselves than we have to. We're doing this the hard way.
I think so. And that's my point about how things are changing. Everything is changing. If you're changing, your relationships are changing. Your passions are changing. Your appetite's changing. Everything's changing. Nothing is not no stone unturned. And so, it's good or something better. It's far greater than anything we can imagine for ourselves. What we're about to jump into, there's more of a threat with it coming too fast than there is some big boogeyman out there that's going to come get us and poison us. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. With GMOs or fluoride or whatever. But yeah, we're front and center in the universal family right now. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
So you said that because many people like myself have had quite a few people transition, in their closer circles, let's put it that way, during this transition we call ascension. How do they assist? Because I've actually heard that and gotten that direct too from those that have transitioned in my family.
I think they can see a little more of the picture than we can see. So they have, they may not have a full understanding, but they have a deeper understanding because you can't see the whole ball when you're right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once you're outside the ball and you get to see, the whole thing, you understand the big picture.
Yeah. Yeah. That's an aligner. I sound like George Bush Jr. That's an aligner. That's an aligner.
You must listen to him more than I do.
No, he had that one statement. What anyway, I don't want to talk about him. Back to the people. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so I think this is part of getting over ourselves is what you just brought up about, because I've always understood that I didn't fully understand. If I can step out, there's a yin yang thing going on there. That when you're the boots on the ground, you're somewhat blinded from that. Mm-hmm. So many of us have stepped out and looked at the earth, let's just put it that way, or looked at a larger situation than just us, and seen different viewpoints and perspectives to continue to propel us into alignment. We're aligners. But when we apply that to ourselves, can we apply that to ourselves? Can I step out of my center of the universe into the real center of the universe, where I'm both observing and creating? But obviously, if I'm looking at the yin and yang part of it, I'm going to be producing something more in alignment. And I guess that means getting straight with yourself, getting past the bullshit, no externalization, no projection, no body. A meditation is just you and the universe, right? I mean, you would think that to compute in that manner, which has brought us expansion, would be a great thing to embody.
Yeah, but I think as long as we're still tethered to this 3D reality in some way, I don't think we're going to fully understand it until we can
You're probably right. Well, yeah, you're probably right. Well, unless...
And even 4D, I don't think, because there's still some more physicality on 4D. I think not until we get into at least 5D and above are we going to fully understand.
Yeah. Yeah. My feeling has, and I agree with you totally. Like and again, it's how we engage that dictates really. That's just all there is to it. But I think but my feeling is, and it's not I want this to happen. I mean, I just actually feel that it's not set in stone, and I can only look at it from my perspective, that I have the opportunity to live a few hundred years, that I have the opportunity to be a part of a physical / mental / emotional / non-physical, everything kind of embodied into a transformation that includes the physical. And I think you already see some signs of it through instant healing and carving the crystalline body, but nothing's set in stone, right? I mean, nothing. It is what it is today.
Well, how we're going to make this transition and when, and I think it's shifting moment by moment. Mm-hmm. I think conversations like this one can be very influential to how that timeline change flows.
Yeah, especially when they have technical things happen. Like, I don't know what it's going to sound like.
That one galactic language one was interesting.
Yeah, I'm talking about this one. I've been struggling the whole time. Now, there's a lot of times it comes through here, but then I go listen to it and you don't pick up on it. But what I've noticed is, like in your case today, there's a lag, which is okay. I mean, that's something I can say, oh, that's human, but it's really not. And then there's these breaks in your voice and these little sounds. and it's not a coincidence. This is part of our reality. It's playing in front of us, like that show with Amanda. I mean, how do you explain it? You can't explain it. It's still getting lit up. So there's something about the what I say, the care, well, like as within without, like a lot of us, I think, are paying attention to the symbols and the signs and the synchronicities and so on, and have become more masterful at that in our personal experience. But that's going to reflect in our collective as well. And I think you're going to start seeing those types of things more often.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Me too. There's a part of me that knows that when we're done, so to speak, I don't know. It's going to be like, it's going to be such a cosmic joke and many other things. But I mean, I think we're yeah. Yeah. Do you want to do anything before we get out of here? I don't know how, whatever you don't have to. There's no pressure. If you want to dance, that's okay. But no, like I don't know if you want to.
That'd be a joke.
You're going to tell a joke. I don't know if you want to connect in any way or whatever. I don't really know. I just like to give the floor over to our guest before we leave. And you can do whatever you want to do. Talk. You want to talk about more things, and talk about more things. Certainly let people know where they can find you, and maybe just certainly kind of a summary of your one-stop angel shop. Okay. I'm going to make up a rap for you, a little commercial. One-stop angel shop. One-stop angel shop.
Okay. My website's easy. It's just SusanWalterArt.com.
Here, I'll put it on SusanWalterArt.com. Okay, there it is on all 10 platforms right there.
We're on 10 platforms? Wow. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that. Maybe I'd been a little more nervous.
Yeah.
You can find me on my website. I'm on Instagram and Facebook as well under same tag name. You can book sessions there with the angel portraits. I also do soul growth readings with the meditation decks, with the mandala decks. And those, they're not so good when it comes to, what's going on with the boyfriend, what's going on with the job. They're more about, your soul path, where you are, and, kind of where you are now, and where, tips on things you can do to get where you want to go, the next step. There are the coloring books with the mandalas. The meditation decks are also for purchase if you want. There are so many fun ways to play with those. I've set a glass of water on top of the mandalas to charge the energy into the water. We've put them in pillows when we're sleeping at night, putting them under the massage table when we're doing energy work with people. Holding them to the body during meditation has been, I know when I'm doing the crystal bowl meditations, I love to put them inside the bowls and see how the influence of those colors and that, brings a new dimension to the bowls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I can kind of like, and again, that's what I was talking about, that effortless kind of put yourself in their shoes kind of thing happening. I don't think that's a good way to describe it for me, but like, so as you're doing that, I can just feel like you're, I don't know, maybe it's your essence yourself, your soul, where, like, for instance, you're making stuff. It's almost like I can just picture you like 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 1,500 years ago. You might have been in a cave mixing this and mixing that, and you're basically creating code and creating new forms of energy. I mean, like an alchemist or a magician. Yeah. So that's kind of cool. That's another thing I find kind of cool too, is how some people's, you can see their I would say like their human lineage, maybe their soul lineage even. And I'm talking about, and again, like you said earlier, everyone has a piece of the puzzle they bring. And it's pretty cool. I saw a lot of that at Soulogy Fest. I saw a lot of that, and then I saw a lot of. I keep saying this, like there had to be 30 to 40 women not taking anything away or giving anything to anybody, just trying to explain, which is what we're all struggling to do. But at the Soulogy Fest, there was about 30 or 40 women and a handful of men that just seemed to have the same soul, particularly the women. Like quiet, very happy, very comfortable in their own skin, in the background, not wanting attention, not needing credit, not needing to explain anything, just basically giving you a hug, smiling, and having a conversation like this. And I was blown away, because to me, as simple as it sounds and as fairy tale as it sounds, something like that, in my opinion, was being anchored, really, I guess, all over the world. And it's that same.
And I'm hoping you do another one of those again. I know when I saw you in Sedona, you mentioned possibly doing another Soulogy Fest in September. I'm hoping you do that.
Well, right now, I'm probably like 3 days back in my body. Yeah, because you said too, like since Sedona, and you took another trip, and that must have been powerful too. I mean,
yes,
but yeah, just, I don't know. Well, to me, I'm trying to like June to me has been like, I don't know how to really draw a picture of it, but like maybe you're in the ocean and you're getting slammed by waves. You can't. You ever been in that situation where you can't like move forward, you can't move backward, it's everything you've got to hold your ground, and I get pulled out, and you're just physically both exhilarated and exhausted. You know what I mean? Like you have that, I did it, and holy shit, I'm about to drop, and that's what I feel like an aftermath. And like, I don't know, and like we're walking into the next phase. And it seems like a really big one to me. To me, it feels like it's, every time I think of the summer, and not because of the temperature, I just feel fire, and fire in a Kali Anubis way. Like burn this shit out now. Get over yourselves. Oneness is oneness.
I'm feeling like particularly the second half of July and all of August are going to be very intense. Okay. And I think that even the way we define the word intent kind of change.
Yes. Everything is changing, and everything keeps carrying. It's like two edges of a sword. So intense is good, and intense is like, holy crap. Back to the strengths and weaknesses. What's our greatest strength? What's our greatest weakness? Another thing to look at is individuality. Individuality is our uniqueness is so important. We're talking light language. We're talking creativity like yours. We're talking about things that are channeled, that are expressions of our connection with infinite intelligence. We are a channel. We are a conduit. These are the purest physical manifestations, so that uniqueness is important. But at the same time, get over yourself. The universe doesn't run on copyrights and trademarks. There is no possession. You own nothing. So to me, more than anything, what's 2021 is walk the talk. Just walk the talk. And if you can't walk the talk, go inside, shut yourself in a room and shut up. And do your work. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's no judgment there. There's not some people awake and some people aren't awake, because it's not linear. like you said. It's all happening at the same time. It's just another way to make your ego go, oh, I'm smart.
We've all been there. Yeah, and not that there isn't times we don't slip back into it on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
We're all still just figuring out. If we really had it all figured out and we're really perfect, or whatever word you want to use there, we wouldn't be here anymore.
Yeah, it's that lesser God genius mentality.
Yeah.
I'm smart. I know and this is another thing to remember, right? I mean, for a little context, this 1% or whatever you want to call them, or whatever's behind them, like I said, even if it's an ET intelligence that can whatever, if it's operating at this egoic control possession level, it's just as 3D as we are. Yeah. And not only that, but they think they're doing the right thing.
Yes, they do. They think they're good. Everybody thinks they're the good guy.
Yeah, exactly. So when
they're leading and guiding us.
Yeah, like they're our daddies. They're the lesser gods. And we carry that gene. We carry the lesser God gene, just like we carry the narcissist gene. You cannot tell me with these expanding energies of awareness, self-awareness, and the universe with a magnifying mirror in your face today, that I'm not discovering unconscious programming to include narcissistic patterns, lesser God genius patterns. I hear somebody, asking me questions about me. I mean, like, I don't get it. Like, how do you even have time to be externalizing anything? How can we have any time? I don't have time hardly at all to do anything but stay in my own lane. I told Morgan, 3 shows a day for the next 3 weeks. Why? Because that will keep me grounded.
Okay.
Right. I mean, it's not like I'm going to be going, it's not like that. It's like I'm going to show up no matter how I feel. And for some weird reason, that'll keep me grounded. I don't know why, but that just feels right.
It's different methods for each one of us. And, one works for one isn't going to work for another.
No, but I think there's an element, like you were saying earlier, about making it so difficult. It's not that fucking difficult. Excuse my French, but it's not. And I'm talking to myself. Like, chill out. And I mean, this is a lot of things, and humility is huge. And you get no more humility than admitting to yourself that which you could not, or even looking there. And everyone's got them.
Yeah, I know. My corporate job years ago was I was a web designer and developer. And I would always have people come to me, oh, you're so good with computers, you can teach me how to do this. And and they were making it so hard. And really, it's like all they needed to do was go click here, and that's it. And they're just good. And I was like, you're making it too hard. You're not, just click on things. Because in these programs or on the internet, because you're not going to break it. Just go and play and experience it. You're making it so much harder than it is. And it's just a simple analogy that
I mean, I agree with you. I agree with you. I would almost
we're not going to break the universe by experiencing something.
No. I would go as far to say is I'm better off to look at things, if we're going to use this example, to look at things on the internet that make me uncomfortable than to look at things that validate my own rationale, my own logic. I mean, I am like not freaking out, but I'm a little bit in awe of the ears that are hearing my own voice, that in a very nice, non-judgmental, nudgy kind of way, hey, do you know why you said that? Do you know why you send that energy out? Do you realize what the ripples look like? And then that other element of the standing in someone else's shoes. Like, there's some nice magic happening. There's some nice patterns available now to replace those that were, we were slave to. Yeah. This stuff ran deep, didn't it?
Yeah. Our conversation, we did this last time, not quite as deep last time, but a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
This has been fun.
Yeah, it has been fun. Yeah. Yes, it has. And thank you for coming in and sharing space with us. I look forward. There is a little possibility. I mean, I'm not, this is back to September. I'm not going to say anything right now. I'm not going to make any decisions in this current energetic climate. But
even if it's not September, let me know when it's going to be, because I want to.
September. Yeah, September would be a good month because it's still not too cold and it's not going to be hot, and it's beautiful.
Well,
and
where you're at, because I'm in Arkansas,
Fort Smith area. Yeah. Yeah.
So you could even do October.
Yeah, I could do October, but I'm thinking this friend of mine. Actually, I'll just say it. Julie Dara Roberts, the Soulogy cosmologist. She's planning on coming to Arkansas and doing some grid work and visiting some sacred sites in September. And I said, well, if you come down, I'll walk around with you with a camera and like film you for a day and just share that with people and see what grid work is in your world. And then I said, well, we could actually just have a get together as well, and
she doesn't need to set up the grids all by herself. We could, we can get a bunch of us in there doing it. That'd be blast.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
that sounds good. That sounds good. All right, you take care. It was really nice talking to you. I look forward to seeing you. It was a pleasure to meet you. What you see with her is what you get, and I think this to me is the highest level of code exchange we can have is to keep putting it out there. It's like we're walking the plankless plank.
Yeah, with no idea where it goes.
That's right. Love you. Take care.